All right, we are live. Hey there, how is it going? Lee Hayward here for the Total Fitness Bodybuilding video chat for Friday, January the 10th. And the way these video chats work is I'm going to be hanging out here for the next hour, answering any questions that you may have when it comes to building muscle, burning fat, losing the gut, getting yourself back in shape, and doing so in an efficient manner. No extreme approaches, no crazy, starvation diets, no extreme crazy workout routines, just a practical, realistic, and sustainable lifestyle approach. So if you would like to discuss that and you have any questions or topics of discussion about losing fat, building muscle, getting yourself in shape, or any specific challenges when it comes to your workouts, your nutrition, anything like that, feel free to post those in our video chat. And I'll do the best that I can to answer those questions over our live chat today. There we go. First off, before we get into those, I want to make sure, is this coming through loud and clear? It seems to be working fine on my end. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Test, test, 1, 2, 3. And let me know if this is coming through loud and clear in our video chat window. It seems, let's see. There we go. Okay, Alex is joining us. Good stuff. Is this coming through loud and clear? Let me know. All good, all good. Okay, awesome. Good stuff. All right, well, first off, I want to, I know we have several regulars tuned in, and one thing that I was talking about last week, and if you've been following along with my Facebook page, the Total Fitness Bodybuilding Facebook page, you've heard about the Lose Your Gut Challenge, which we're kicking off now. And today is the grand welcome to the Lose Your Gut Challenge. So if you are requested to become part of that group, then you've already been welcomed in to the Lose Your Gut Challenge group. It's a private challenge that's going to be taking place over the next week on Facebook. So I have a private Facebook group set up, and every single day we're going to be going through some live coaching and interaction, and I'll be providing you with the tools and the strategies and the tactics that you need in order to lose that stubborn body fat, lose the gut, and build lean muscle, and basically get yourself in shape now in 2020. So it's going to be an entirely free week of coaching, going deep into the mindset, the habits, the lifestyle approach that you need to do to change this thing up here, right? I mean, it's one thing to have all the, like, people say, oh, well, how many calories, how many macros, how many sets, how many reps? Like, okay, that stuff is great. But if you don't have the mindset and you don't actually have the habits, and you take all that how-to stuff and actually find a way that you can apply it and do it consistently, then all the tactics and strategies doesn't really mean anything if you can't apply it. So one of the things I always say, like, the best workout is the one that you follow, right? The best diet is the one that you follow, the one that you follow consistently. And of course, that's what we're going to be going into now within the Lose Your Gut Challenge. So I'm looking forward to that. This is actually the third time that I've done a Lose Your Gut Challenge, and each one has been bigger and better than the next. We've got, I think it's 194 people signed up and ready to go into the challenge. And the way it works is over the course of the week, as like every day, there's going to be accountability tasks and homework assignments to be done every single day throughout the challenge. And if you don't do your accountability task, you don't do your homework, you don't keep up with the challenge, then you get booted out of the challenge. So we're starting off now. It's 194 people in the challenge, and it's going to be interesting to see how many of those remain at the end of the week. And usually 50%, it's kind of like a ballpark number, but 50% of the people are going to be booted out of the challenge, either voluntarily, like some people are just like, oh, I can't commit to it, and they quit on their own. Other people, I physically boot them out because they just don't do their homework assignment. So, I mean, simple as that. So it's an interactive challenge, and I'm really looking forward to going through this again and getting some great results. Like I say, this is the third time I've done it, and each time we've seen some amazing results in such a short period of time. And then, of course, a lot of people take what they've learned and then continue on following it, which is the whole purpose of it. I mean, what's the point of, learning something new and then forgetting about it? Like, that doesn't help anybody. But if you take the habits and the strategies and the mindsets that you learn and then apply it, then you can really make some lasting change over the course of the next several weeks, several months, etc., to realizing your fitness and fat loss goals. So again, I'm super pumped and excited for that. And if you are a part of that, I do welcome you. Like, just out of curiosity, those of you who are tuning in live right now, how many of you are in are already registered for the Lose Your Gut Challenge? Let me know in the comments. Just say, I am, if you are. All right. Okay, now with that being said, I'm going to jump in now and see what kind of questions, topics of discussion we've got coming through here. Alex is joining us. We have Hikester12 has joined us. Recep is joining us. Logical Order. Jacob. Brandon's part of the challenge. And Jacob's in there as part of the challenge. Everybody's been approved. Everybody who's in the challenge should have already been approved. Brandon says he's waiting on the approval. You should have already gotten the approval. Go check your Facebook. It should have already been done like an hour ago or more. All right. Okay, let's jump in. Let's see what we got. What are low-calorie desserts do you eat on a regular day? What low-calorie desserts do you eat on a regular day? I don't eat any desserts as in desserts from like store-bought stuff. I make my own healthy desserts, if you will. And I have a recipe guide that I'd like to share with you. It's called, let me just get the link for it. It's a free download. It's a PDF that I put together. It's 5 of my favorite high-protein recipes. And these are my go-to recipes. If you go to Muscle After 40 Blueprint and it's free high protein recipes, I'll put a link to it in the description below. And for those of you who are tuned in live right now, I'm going to put a link in our video chat. There's the link. You can download that. I just posted it there. But that is what I have in place of desserts. These are some delicious high protein, low fat, low sugar options. There's high protein cupcakes, high protein ice cream, high protein chocolate pudding, high protein oatmeal, high protein pancakes. I mean, this is the stuff. Like, I don't eat regular ice cream. I don't eat regular puddings or cupcakes or stuff like that, or pancakes. I mean, I make these healthy, high protein, low fat, low sugar options that I share in that recipe guide, and they taste awesome. And I actually think it tastes better than some of the, the higher fat, regular sugary, fatty stuff that you get at the grocery store. So this is what I have to satisfy my sweet tooth cravings and help me stick to a diet plan without feeling like I'm depriving or starving myself. Like, for example, like I'll eat my meal, and if I'm still feeling like a bit peckish after a meal and I want some dessert, I might make up some high protein ice cream. And I usually mix it up in the blender, a big batch of it, and I'll share it up with the family. Like my 3-year-old son, Harvey, he loves it. Like whenever he hears the blender fire up, he knows Daddy's making ice cream, and he comes running to the kitchen because he's going to get some high protein ice cream. And the base of it, we use pasteurized liquid egg whites for the base. I put in some protein powder and whey protein powder, and you can use whatever flavor you want. You can have a chocolate or vanilla, or the one that I've been using lately is a cookies and cream flavor, which has a really nice taste. So I'll mix up the liquid egg whites as the base, the protein powder to bump up the protein and to give it that sweet taste, and then put in some frozen berries, like frozen strawberries. You can put in other types of frozen berries or frozen fruit as well. But strawberries are one of the best if you're trying to keep your calories and carbohydrates low. Like frozen strawberries, or just strawberries in general. I mean, you need frozen ones for this recipe, but strawberries are very filling, very low calorie. I mean, it's an awesome diet food, if you will, strawberries, because you get a lot of eating satisfaction, very low calories. So that's the base. I mean, that's one thing that I'll mix up, and it tastes delicious, right? Like that is my go-to. I've been eating that for years, and it's one of the things that really helps to make it easier to stay on track. Again, we've got protein pudding, protein cupcakes. Again, download that recipe guide. It's all outlined there, step by step, how to make it. But that's what I have in place of dessert. Okay, let's see what else we got. Team Muscle Dart is saying, hello, sir. Good morning from the Philippines. I usually listen tuning in to your channel. Thanks for helping as always. I have a question. I'm doing this right in order for me to gain strength. Okay, there might be another question here. Let's see. I think it got broke off. So he says, am I doing this right in order to gain strength? What I'm taking is creatine capsules, 3 tabs for 1 week, plus Tribulus every day. I hope you can answer my question. What are your thoughts on doing high volume workouts? Okay, you got a bunch of questions there. All right, creatine. There's nothing wrong with taking creatine capsules if you want, but the best bang for your buck is just creatine powder. Like, that's what I take. I take creatine monohydrate powder. It's the same thing. Like, creatine's creatine, whether it comes in a powder form, whether the powder is stuffed into a capsule and you take it that way, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's the same stuff. Creatine works. There's more studies done on creatine than probably pretty much every supplement out there. Like, it's been around for years. There's numerous studies and research done on it. Like, the stuff works, right? Bottom line. So there's nothing wrong with that. Again, the powder is better value than the capsules, but hey, if you're taking capsules, so be it. Taking Tribulus, it's optional. I mean, like, if you're try and see how it works. Like, there's mixed reviews about it. Some people take it and find that it makes a big difference. Some people take it and find it doesn't do anything. If you're a young guy, like if you're in your teens or 20s or something like that, it's not going to do anything for you. If you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s and beyond, it may have a small benefit in terms of helping to optimize your natural testosterone production. But if you really have low hormone levels, then I'd recommend talking to your doctor and getting get your hormone levels checked and see if you actually need hormone replacement or supplements, or like, just don't go relying on over-the-counter supplements, because a lot of them don't do what the label claims they'll do. I'll just say that. What else we got? Midigan Mac is asking my opinion on SARMs. I really don't have an opinion on SARMs. I've never used them before. I don't have any opinion on them, but there's lots of videos out there that do talk about SARMs. So watch those. But I've never tried them before. And honestly, it's one of those underground things that I would be very cautious about, because it's not even a standardized thing. It's these underground companies are making something that's this gray area it's not legal, it's not illegal, it's like what is it, a research chemical that they're marketing it as or something? It just all sounds so shady and sketchy from the get-go. I mean, approach with caution, that's all I would say, or stay the hell away from it. Okay, Alex is asking 5, 3, 1. I think he's doing a countdown. Is he? 5, 3, 1. What are your thoughts? Well, you missed the 4 and you missed the 2. You should have had a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I guess you're talking about a rep pattern, like doing a set of 5, then do a set of 3, and then do a set of 1. I mean, if you're a power lifter or something like that, probably it would work. Again, I'm like adding to your question, because literally the question is 5, 3, 1. What are your thoughts? I think they're 3 numbers, and you're, like I said, you missed the 4 and you missed the 2. That's my thoughts. But I'm going to pretend that he's asking about a workout program, and I'm going to pretend that he's asking about repetitions, and I'm going to try and answer this pretend question that I'm making up in my mind. That's a power training program. Personally, I'm not a fan of it. Like, if you're a power lifter, okay, great. It's probably something you might want to experiment with. But if your goal is bodybuilding or hypertrophy, I would recommend higher repetitions and more time under tension. All right. All right. Those. We've got Ross tuning in. Hello, Ross. How are you, my friend? He's a regular. In fact, if you're a regular, let me know. I usually always ask this. If you're a regular to the video chats, type the letter R in the video chat there. And if you are new, you've never tuned in one of these before, I want to welcome you, first of all. But type the letter N into our video chat and let me know if you are regular or if you are new. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, Alex is following up on the question there. He's talking about Jim Wendler's 5-3-1 program. Yeah, again, Jim Wendler, powerlifters. I mean, if you're training for powerlifting, then it can't make sense. But if you're training for bodybuilding or just general health and fitness, I wouldn't recommend doing such low repetitions. The problem with low reps, you greatly increase your risk of injury when you're pushing super heavy weight for low reps. You're not getting a lot of time under tension, and a lot of times you're placing a lot of strain on the joints, tendons, and ligaments, and not a lot on the actual muscle, right? That's why sometimes you'll see powerlifters who could be super strong, or weightlifters, same idea. They might be super strong, but not necessarily, that big or that muscular. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with that if that is your goal. But if your goal is to like build lean muscle and just improve your overall health and fitness, I would recommend a higher repetition range, not only for the hypertrophy point of view, but the safety point of view as well, because you're placing more workload on the muscles and less strain on the joints, tendons, and ligaments, and less chance that you're going to tear or injure something. I have RC Cosplay joining us, and he says, I didn't get a notification today. I'm not sure what the notification for the video chat, notification for what? I'm not sorry you didn't get a notification, but I don't know what you mean. Obviously, you must have gotten a notification for well, maybe you didn't get a notification. You just decided to tune up here. Again, I don't know how to answer your question. If you have problems or you need some technical support with something, send me an email at leah@leehayward.com, but I really don't know what your question is there. Brandon's tuned in. He says, okay, actually, he's replying to somebody else's question there. Archer's joining in, regular. Brandon's regular. Chuck's joining in, regulars. Awesome, lots of regulars here. Any newbies? I don't see any newbies. Oh, okay. Kind of regular. Does Daniel? Okay. Okay. Hi, Lee. What advice for a scone cycle for a beginner? Hi, Lee. What advice for a sconed cycle for a beginner? He must mean a second cycle. I think that's probably what he's asking. Second cycle. Do you mean a workout program? I'm going to give you a tip, guys. Like, if you have a question, like, kind of try and elaborate a little bit. Like, think of somebody else reading your question and like trying to decipher what it is. Because, man, I'm trying to like make shit up here. I don't know what you're asking. I'm going to just move on. I mean, as far as a workout program, a second workout program for a beginner, then what I would recommend is go check out my playlist. I've got a lot of different workout programs from beginners, intermediate, advanced. Even if you want, download the Total Fitness Bodybuilding app, because that has specific programs you can in there. There's intermediate plan, beginner, intermediate, advanced, and then there's all kinds of different variations once you're in that more advanced stage. And when I say advanced, I'm not talking about like you have to be a pro bodybuilder or anything like that. I'm talking about like you've been working out for a couple of years. Like if you've been working out for a couple of years, then you are quote unquote advanced, meaning that you know your way around the gym. You have a decent level of fitness, assuming that you've been consistent, and you can try more advanced workout strategies. That's what I mean by advanced. I'm not saying that you're a elite level bodybuilder or powerlifter or anything like that. I'm just saying that you're not just getting started. That's what I'm getting at. So again, if you're looking for a full spectrum of programs to follow, Total Fitness Bodybuilding app would be a great one. And again, if you want to download it, just head on over to leehayward.com. That's my main website. And there's a link where you can download the app right there. We have Brent tuning in. He's a regular. He says, I'm regular just like my bowel movements. All right, good for you, my friend. And I'm glad your bowel movements are regular too. We have Pro Reactors asking, how do I feel about keto? Personally, I hate keto. There's my feeling about keto. I'm not a keto fan. I know some people do it. Some people like it, and they say it works for them and all that. But kind of to piggyback off Brent's question there, or Brent's post that he just mentioned, when you follow a keto diet, one of the drawbacks of it that I personally don't like is it can make you constipated. Because, I mean, when you cut your carbohydrates to virtually nil, guess what? You're not getting a lot of that volume, that roughage, that stuff in your body that helps to push the poop out, if you will. And I found that that was one of the biggest drawbacks with keto, is I would get constipated. And I've talked to a lot of guys who follow keto, and like some of them would be like, instead of having like say 1 or 2 bowel movements a day, they would be down to like 1 or 2 bowel movements a week. Now, I mean, like, I don't care who you are. I mean, that's not healthy. Like, you need to get rid of that gunk out of your system. And that's one of the drawbacks about keto, is it binds you up and you're not regular. So, I mean, you have all that crap in your system, literally. And another thing, I find that your strength energy can go down the toilet, right? Your strength and energy is going down the toilet, but the crap's not, because it's staying bound up inside you. I'm not a fan of keto. Like, personally, I like a well-balanced diet. So like when I'm working with somebody, like in terms of designing a customized meal plan for someone, where we start is usually 1/3 protein, 1/3 carbs, 1/3 fat. And that's where we start. And I found for the majority of people, that works really well. When you have a well-balanced diet and you're not neglecting anything, the body just works the way it's supposed to. It's a very efficient way to eat. And I'm a big fan of a well-balanced diet. I don't believe in cutting out food groups or having this, super low fat or super high fat, super low carb, super high carb, or high protein, low protein. Like, keep things in balance. Like, your body wants to be in balance. When things are in balance, it's so much easier to just stick to a meal plan. You don't have the energy spikes and lows. You don't suffer the drawbacks of all the crap that you find when you go on these crazy restrictive diets. Keep things in balance. Simple. Okay, RC saying, I look good in a white V-neck. Thank you. Appreciate it. Are there something you can take to avoid the keto flu? Yes, don't go on a keto diet. That will help you avoid the keto flu. That's another thing. Like, people follow a keto diet and they get sick. They even got a name for it. It's called the keto flu. Like, man, like, why do you want to follow that? Like, just eat a well-balanced diet and you will feel good. You will be healthy. Your body will function. You'll have energy. You'll be able to get a pump when you go to the gym, and you'll be able to poop on a daily basis. And like, everything just works when you eat a well-balanced diet based around natural, unprocessed foods. Like, why do you want to go keto? Man, it's stupid. Anyway. 80s baby, 90s kid strong says, with technology being the way it is, do you think we will ever have a generation of people who work out for the love of it? Yeah, of course we do. I mean, we have a generation of people who work out for the love of it now. But with that being said, we're getting to the point where people need to work out now for health and fitness reasons, because like most people, just due to your day-to-day job, lifestyle, whatever, like, you're not getting enough exercise to maintain health and fitness without working out. Very few people do. I know if you have a very physical job or something like that, okay, yeah, you're the exception, but the average person is not getting enough physical activity just from their job and day-to-day stuff. They need to actually purposely schedule in time for exercise, and that's just going to keep going up and up and up, because we're getting lazier as a society, and we need to actually make time to exercise. Like in my case, if I didn't physically go to the gym and I physically planned to go for walks and exercise, like, I would be a lazy fat fat slob, right? I mean, I would be, because I work on the computer most of the day. Like, I don't have a physical job, right? Like, this isn't physical, right? Tapping on a keyboard, it's not very physical. So if I didn't go to the gym and purposely keep myself active, yeah, I'd be a fat slob for sure. Lee Dunnigan is joining in. He says, after 25 years of landscape gardening, in the front of my right, the front of my right shoulder has taken the brunt of all the repetitive action. Are there any exercises I can do to strengthen it and help with my bench? Yeah, I've got some videos. You can do a search for Lee Hayward rotator cuff. Just go to YouTube, Lee Hayward rotator cuff, and you should find the videos that I have there. There's some older ones, there's some recent ones, but there's a whole bunch of exercises. And I usually title them rotator cuff, but it's exercises for the entire shoulder complex. It's not just the rotator cuff. And the biggest thing that you need to do is to keep things in balance. So that means prioritizing the rear delts and upper back, because almost universally, that's what gets neglected unless you purposely prioritize it. So in your case, rear delt, upper back work, you need to do that. And like, you could even do it daily. And it doesn't have to be some crazy demanding workout. Like, even just rubber resistance bands and doing exercises like band pull aparts, where you wrap the rubber resistance bands around your hands and do reverse flies like that. Face pulls, you can use rubber resistance bands like that, where you wrap it around a post or something and you do like a face pull with the rubber bands. Things like that, rotator cuff rotations, there all these type of exercises. Like, you can do it at home in your spare time. It only takes a few minutes. I mean, you can do those on a daily basis, and that will help to, first of all, it'll just work the mobility in your shoulder complex, but it'll also help to balance out the weak link, which chances are it's the rear delts and upper back. It is in almost virtually all cases. Okay, Alex is saying, hopefully this is a better question. Yeah, hopefully it is. He says, 20 rep squats. Where did you first hear about them? Was it the book Super Squats? Yes, it was. It was. Proof. There it is. Super Squats. That's where I first heard about 20 rep squats. I'll stick it up on the bookshelf after. Okay. No SMO King. Hi, Lee. What are your thoughts on Mike O'Hearn and his workout advice on very heavy lifting? I'm 52 and would never try to lift heavy. I know I'd get injured. I hear you. I think you would too. Mike O'Hearn is like unicorn. Mike O'Hearn is like a genetic alien from another planet. Like, I am a huge fan of Mike O'Hearn. Don't get me wrong. I'm a huge fan of him. I watch his videos sometimes, and like, he's just like a Greek god specimen or something. I mean, like, the man is in just amazing shape. He's in his 50s now, or I don't know exactly how old he is, but he's like 50s, and he's like, he hasn't aged a day. Like, I don't know, he's drinking from the fountain of youth or something like that. The man has not aged a day since, and he's just big, jacked, ripped. Like, he looks phenomenal. So I mean, whatever he's doing is working for him, but like, that is the exception, not the rule. Most people in their 50s do not look like that or can perform like that. So I mean, I would still like use his training methods. Like, I've picked up some tips watching his videos, but like, you don't need to push yourself as hard or as heavy as he is. I mean, obviously, you know, he's at another level in terms of strength and development, but you can still take the same framework, the same exercises and same strategies and that kind of stuff and apply it to yourself, but just lift within your own means, right? I mean, like, that applies to anybody. Like, you can't follow in just anybody's workout and try to duplicate it. I mean, like, if I try to bench press 400 pounds, I mean, I'm just, it ain't going to happen, right? I'm just going to be a staple to the bench and, you know, blown rotator cuffs and torn pec and God knows what else. But I mean, Mike O'Hearn can do it. But like I say, I'm not him. Okay, we got George tuning in from Greece. Welcome. Nice to have you tuning in. I guess it must be pretty late over there, or later than it is here anyway. Okay, let's see what else we got. Any questions? Do you sell supplements? No, I do not. Do you have your own brand? No, I do not. If so, how can I order from you? I don't sell supplements. Sorry there. Amazon, bodybuilding.com, wherever, just go on. Like, there's lots of places that sell supplements. I don't do it. I used to back in the day, but I got out of it because there was so much competition in the supplement industry that it just was not worth it for the competition and the work that was involved, and then the cutthroat pricing and everybody else, where everybody's undercutting the other person. Like, unless you are in a position where you can sell massive volumes and buy in massive quantities and get, you know, these massive volume discounts and then keep up that way, it's like, for the small guy trying to sell supplements, it's virtually impossible. I mean, I used to do it back in the day. I used to sell supplements out of my house for some of the locals because there was no supplement store in my town. So people would come to my house and I would sell them like protein powder and creatine and all that stuff, because I used to order it in bulk and and sell it locally that way. But like, nowadays, everywhere you go, they're selling supplements. I mean, like, you go to the grocery store, you go to Walmart, you go to Costco, like, everybody's selling supplements. I mean, like, the average like small guy has a really hard time to try and keep up price wise. Like, a lot of times you'll go to Costco, for example, and you could, like, anybody can go in and buy protein powder off the shelf for probably the wholesale cost of the average person who are trying to buy it in small quantities. So it's just, I got out of the supplement business in, oh my God, 15 years ago. Literally, like, I did it up until the mid 2000s, like around 2005-ish or somewhere around there. But then it was just like, even back then, it was like getting too competitive. So I just said, it's not worth it. Right? I'm not going to bother. I was losing money on it, and it was just headaches. Okay, what else we got? Hawkster12 is saying, Coach, I'm doing workouts from your rep. I think you might mean my app. But anyway, I was high repping sets. Now they're easy. So I started increasing my weights. My reps are lower because of this. Is this okay? How you doing? Doing workouts from your app. I'm high repping sets, but now they're easy. So I start. Yes, when the weight gets easy, you increase the weight and make it harder. That makes perfect sense. Team Muscle Dart says, guys, please do a favor and hit the like button for this video so others can see it. Thank you. I mean, that's something I'm supposed to say. Not you're typing it in there to the chat. So hey, yeah. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you like my videos, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. I know probably a lot of you are, but if you haven't, then do it now. Like, push that little button. Ricky is there, and he's joined in. He says, how is it going? It is going fantastic, Ricky. How are you? He says, I just want to know, what does salt do for bodybuilding? Salt is one of these essential things. It's like salt is such a misunderstood mineral, electrolyte, whatever you want to call it, because a lot of people think, oh, salt's bad for you. Like, cut out salt. Don't eat salt. Like, you'll have a heart attack. Your blood pressure will go through the roof and blah, 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 blah. No. Salt is essential. Like, if you don't have enough sodium, guess what? Like, you're at a greater risk of dying from too little sodium than you are from too much. Like, the way salt works, or sodium in general, is your body will use what it needs and it will flush out the rest. As long as you're active, you're drinking water and everything else, your body will use what it needs and flush out the rest. So it'll flush it out in your urine, it'll flush it out in your sweat. Like, you can't store sodium in the body to extreme amounts. The body will use what it needs and flush out the rest. Now, like, if you've had health issues, like older people who are sick and the body's not working properly, then yeah, your doctor might prescribe you to go on, a special diet and reduce your sodium intake or whatever. But if you are healthy, you are active, you're in the gym, you're actually sweating and working your body, you're losing sodium every time you sweat, every time you go to the bathroom and do a pee. Like, when you lose fluid out of your body, guess what? Sodium is going out with that fluid, and you need to replenish it. So if you don't have enough salt, then you're actually doing yourself a disservice. One of the easiest, cheapest, most effective performance-enhancing supplements out there is salt. And if you've been purposely trying to keep your salt low and thinking that, oh, salt is bad and I don't want to have a high blood pressure and a heart attack and all that, so I'm going to eat zero salt, you're doing yourself a disservice. And I mean, just simple things like adding salt to your food. Like, I do it all the time when I add salt to taste. I mean, you don't need to go crazy with it, but I mean, I'm having chicken breasts or eggs or potatoes or vegetables or whatever. I mean, just take the salt shaker and add some salt to taste. I mean, simple as that. That's usually enough for most people. But sometimes I'll even take extra salt to the gym. Like, when I go to the gym, I will keep salt packets with me just in case I get a muscle cramp while I'm training. And a muscle cramp is usually because you don't have enough salt in your system. I've made videos about it. Like, just go do YouTube search Lee Hayward salt. Go to my blog, leehayward.com, type in salt in the search bar. I've got articles, blog posts, videos. Like, it's such a misunderstood topic. And once you understand it and you get it right, it makes such a huge difference. I've had people write me and say, holy crap, I'm actually getting a pump. I'm feeling stronger. I'm fuller. I'm more energy. Less cravings when they're dieting, all kinds of stuff, just because you're now consuming a healthy salt level versus a zero salt level, or too low a salt level, I should say. And technically nobody's having zero, because there's trace amounts of sodium in all the foods. But if you purposely are avoiding it, you're doing yourself a disservice. What else we got there? Torpedo is joining us. He says, Lee, thank you. Question. I do HIIT 6 days, early morning, and weights every other day. I'm healthy with muscle and love handles as well. Plan seems to be working at average pace. Stick or change. Thank you. All right. So you're doing high intensity interval training 6 days a week, early in the morning, and then you're doing weights every other day, which is fine. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of HIIT cardio. I prefer moderate intensity, longer, steady state cardio. But I mean, sometimes I'll mix it up, especially in the summertime when I'm out bike riding. that's natural interval training, because I mean, if you're climbing a hill, I mean, obviously that's the high intensity part. If you're going on the flat or downhill, that's the low intensity part. So I mean, when I go out mountain biking, you know, that's interval training right there. But when I do cardio, like at the gym or going for a walk or something like that, I mean, obviously that's steady state, you know, moderate intensity cardio. But bottom line, you're doing cardio 6 days a week. That's good. Excellent. You're doing weights every other day, which is good as well. I mean, I'm very similar. Like the way I structure my workouts is I do some form of cardio every single day, even if it's just getting my ass outside and going for a walk. Like I'll do some sort of cardio every single day, no matter what. And then every other day I'll go to the gym for weight training. Okay, what else? So you're healthy, your muscles, you've got love handles as well. Plan seems to be working. Should you stick to it or change? Well, if it's working, stick to it. But what I would say, if you want to lose those love handles, you got to focus on your diet. That's the key. Like you can't outwork a bad diet. Now, you didn't mention nothing about your diet, but if you've got love handles, which means you got excess body fat, then it probably means you're eating more calories than you're burning and you have a surplus. So you need to address that if your goal is to lose those love handles and to lean out. I mean, if you want help with that, send me an email. We can chat about it, because that's such a big topic. Like nutrition is, of all the things when it comes to fitness, weight training, cardio, nutrition, the nutrition one is the most challenging. Like a lot of guys that I know, they love to go to the gym. They love to work out, right? Or at least they can tolerate it, because it's like, okay, I go to the gym for an hour and then I'm done. But nutrition, that's like all day long. It's always coming up. And of course, then you're constantly tempted with food, and then you're like having to meal prep and make better food choices. Like the workout is just like a one and done. Every single day you got like this little one and done, boom, then you can forget about it. But nutrition, you can't just forget about it, because you always have your next meal coming up. I mean, it's something that's going to be, it's constant all the time. So, I mean, it's one of the most challenging parts of building muscle, losing the gut, getting in shape, is the nutrition. And then that's where most people drop the ball, right? It doesn't have to be as complicated as a lot of people make it out to be, but it's where most people do drop the ball. Steve is joining us. Woodulos is joining us. He says, Lee, have you ever tried using Versa grips or lifting hooks instead of straps? I've heard they can help with elbow tendonitis. Personally, I have not. I've got lifting straps that I've been using for years. The ones that I have now, I don't use them that often, but when I do use straps, I use the same ones, and I've literally had them now for, oh my gosh, I would say 15 years or more. I bought them from, I think it's a website called ProWristStraps.com. I think that's the name of it. It might not even be online anymore. I haven't checked them such a long time. Let me just do a search. I'm just so curious right now. ProWristStraps.com, I think it is. Nothing's coming up yet. Let me see. No, nothing. All right, don't. I don't think that's working. Okay, it might be anyway. That's where I ordered my my wrist straps back in the day, and they were such a good quality strap. They've lasted me for like 15 plus years. They're a double strap, so like it has a bigger strap, and then it's reinforced with another strap on top of it. And man, they're just awesome. So that's what I use anytime I need to reinforce my grip, is just those wrist straps. I've never ever used the hooks or any of those other wrist grippy gadgets, so I have really no feedback to share on that. One thing I will say, like I've heard from other people who have those, like with the wrist strap, you're still using your grip, right? Like the strap helps a huge amount, but you still have to use your grip. Whereas the hook, it like you really don't have to use your grip at all, because it's the weight is literally dangling from your wrist through the hook. So if you find that elbow tendonitis or your grip is a really limiting factor, then it might be a better option. But again, I've never personally used it myself, so I can't really give a true, honest comparison. I'm just like sharing stuff that I've heard people talk about before. Green Arrow is joining us. He says, what are the best upper body workouts to target all upper muscles? to target all the muscles, what's the best workout? Well, in order to target all the muscles, you have to do all the exercises. I tell you what, like that sounds to me like a beginner's question, just based on what you're saying here. So I am actually in the process of putting together a brand new beginner's workout series. And the first 2 videos of that series is posted up now on the main Total Fitness Bodybuilding YouTube channel. So head on over there right now, and you can check out those videos, right? There's a series that I'm putting together. And the way it is, it's a total body workout program. But each day we're going to be doing different exercises to target the different muscle groups. So one day we're going to focus primarily on compound exercises. Next day we're going to focus primarily on isolation exercises. The third day we're going to go in there and kind of like fill in the gaps and train some of the body parts that didn't really get worked with those first 2 workouts. So it's a total body workout program. But over the course of the week, you're getting a lot of variety and a lot of unique stimulation because you're doing different exercises each time you go to the gym. But you're still getting the benefit of that high frequency training. And the cool thing about it too, from a beginner's point of view, is you're not doing too much in any one workout. You're not going to like get to the point where you're painfully sore. Like if you go in and do a typical chest day or back day or whatever, when you go to the gym and you train, like let's just say you do you spend the entire day doing chest exercises, then the next day your chest is going to be like ridiculously sore. But if you just do a little bit of chest and a little bit of back and a little bit of legs and a little bit of core and you space it out, then you're not going to get overly sore in any one muscle group. So it makes it more comfortable. You're going to avoid that getting painfully stiff and sore and that nagging aches and pains. Like you're going to avoid that with this new program that I'm in the process of putting together. So again, there's 2 workouts there already. Go check those out, get started. I've had the third one. The video footage is shot. I just need to get it edited and then uploaded, and that'll be done next week. So check that out. That will be a good one to start. All right, let's see what else we got. We've got a super chat tip came through. This one is from Jin Yu, and he sent the tip. Thank you, my friend. He sent a $30 tip. I do appreciate it. He says, Lee, I'm almost 52. Does ageless male work? Do any drugstore testosterone boosters work? Ageless male. I honestly, I have never heard of ageless male, and I would be awful cautious of supplements like that. I'm going to be totally upfront and honest with you. Like if you have any doubts about your hormone levels, and at 52, you should have doubts about your hormone levels because they start to decline in your 30s. Like once you get past 30, like your natural hormone levels are not going up, they're going down. All right. So, I mean, they start to decline in your 30s. You can go down further in your 40s. They go down even more in your 50s and 60s and beyond. So once you like at that age now, 52, you should go get your hormone levels checked. Check it out with your doctor and just get the blood work done and see where you are. Like if you are in the low range for like testosterone or growth hormone or thyroid or all these key hormones, these key anabolic and metabolic hormones that have a huge impact. Like if you are low, then you can discuss with your doctor or hormone replacement specialist about hormone replacement therapy. And this is becoming more and more popular. I've known a lot of guys, like I've got several people who are doing my coaching program right now who are using hormone replacement therapy, and it makes a huge difference. Like they feel better. They have more energy. They got more sex drive. You know, it makes it easier to build muscle, lose fat, and just feel better. So if that's something that you have doubts about, and even at, quite honestly, at 52, you should get it done anyway. Like whether you're questioning it or not, like just go to your doctor, get a checkup, and then request it with your blood work. But you actually have to ask your doctor to check testosterone, check your growth hormone, check your thyroid, because they're probably not going to check it. Like they usually check your glucose levels and your cholesterol levels and stuff like that. They usually don't check testosterone and growth hormone and stuff like that unless you specifically ask for it. So you want to ask for that. And I mean, there's probably hormone replacement clinics, depending on where you live, that you can get this done through as well. But check it out and get the work done, get the blood work. And then if needed, talk to your doctor about some practical options that are right for you. I mean, there's all kinds of different options. There's from patches to these creams to, straight up injectable testosterone, whatever, but there's options out there. And I know a lot of guys who have went with these options and have gotten some great results because of it. And the cool thing about doing it through a doctor supervision, of course, well, one, that you're actually getting the real thing. It's not like going through some underground, back alley black market brew that you don't know what the heck you're getting. But if you're actually getting it through a doctor, you're at least getting legitimate, hormones and products. What's on the label should be in the bottle. And then, of course, they're actually going to be following up and doing blood work with you to make sure that everything is safe and that you're not putting yourself at any risk or danger, right? Like that's the key, right? So talk to your doctor about this. I mean, it's something that would make a huge difference. And again, thanks for your support. Much appreciated. Where are we now? Let's move on to our questions. Tyler's asking, can you please make some meal prep videos? Yeah, I can definitely do that. I have several meal prep videos on my website now, or on my YouTube channel, but that's something I can definitely look into doing more of. How much protein for muscle gain? I'm 55. A good rule of thumb is 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass per day. As long as you're getting that, then you should be okay. That would be, if you want to go like per pound of body weight per day, as long as you're, at your ideal body weight or close to it, then that's fine as well. The reason why I'm kind of hesitant to say gram of protein per pound of body weight per day, because if somebody's really overweight, then they're going to be consuming way too much protein. Like, let's just say you got someone who's 50 or 100 pounds overweight, and then they're having 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Well, then, like, they could literally be 50 to 100 grams over what they need for their body. But 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass per day. And if you don't know what your lean body mass is, like 1 gram of protein per pound of what you would like to weigh. Like, keep it simple. Like, so, like, for example, like if you'd like to lose 30 pounds, just take your body weight minus 30 and boom, that's what you should consume in grams per day, right? It doesn't have to be an exact science. Like, some days you might be a little higher, some days you might be a little lower, but like that's a good average to shoot for and strive for. And that applies to nutrition in general. Like, some people are so thinking that you're going to be precise to the exact calorie, gram, macro, whatever. Like, no, like some days you're going to be eating more, some days you're going to be eating less. Like, it's going to fluctuate. It's just like you want to be kind of like in the ballpark every day. Like, yes, you may be higher or lower. It doesn't matter. What averages out over the course of the week or the month, over the year, like that's what really matters. And how you'll know if you're on the right track is based on your results. Like, if your goal is to lose weight, then you want to be seeing a slow, steady decline on the scale, week after week, month after month. If your goal is to gain weight, you want to see a slow gain on the scale week after week, month after month, right? Or if your goal is to maintain, then you want to maintain it, right? But you will know if you're on track or not based on how your body actually responds, the real results that you get, not based on some online calorie calculator formula, which, most of those are it's just an educated guess. It's a place to start. That's all it is. Are you a wrestling fan? If so, what wrestler do you think has the best bodybuilding results? I'm not a wrestling fan. Sorry. Right? I was when I was a kid, but like, man, the wrestlers that I followed as a kid they're not wrestling anymore, and they don't look like bodybuilders anymore. Like, I'm talking like back in the old days, like Hulk Hogan and Jake the Snake Roberts and Macho Man Randy Savage and all the classic wrestlers back when it was WWF, right? Not WWE, it was WWF before the Wildlife Federation took over. Anyway, but yeah, no, I don't follow wrestling anymore. What else? We got logical order. If I mess up one day and I go 300 calories over, should I take 300 calories for my total the next day? You could if you want, but I just mentioned that in a couple of questions ago. Like, you're going to have days where you go over. You're going to have days where you go under. Personally, I wouldn't stress out over it. Like, just, I guess the thing that I would ask you is, like, are you actually training for something where you like have a deadline? Like, okay, I have to be ripped by this date. Right? You have a photo shoot plan. You have a bodybuilding competition plan. You have a beach vacation plan. You have something like you're on a deadline and you have to, like, it's crunch time. You got to get yourself in shape in a hurry. Then, okay, that makes sense if you want to be like real meticulous with the calories to get ready for that deadline. But if you're just trying to do this for health, fitness, and like, I want to gradually move myself in the right direction towards losing fat and building muscle and getting in better shape, then no, you don't need to stress out, oh, I went over calories today. What am I going to do? Like, just get back on track tomorrow and forget about it. Like, literally, that's all you have to do. Don't stress over. Like, stressing over is worse than the fact that you overate the calories, because stress in and of itself, messes with your metabolism and everything. Just like, don't make too big of a deal of it. Just, if you screw up, you cheat, whatever, just get back on track for your next meal and continue on. Daniel says, salt's supposed to give you a good pump, and it does. I think he's replying back to the question that I mentioned before. Okay, let's see what else we got. Question again. This is from Team Muscle Dirt, and he says, your thoughts about Kai Green, William Bannock, and Roden. He didn't represent the Olympia last year. What's the real cause of that, and what's the future for this 3 on Olympia? I know most of the guys you're talking about. Actually, what happened here? My screen refreshed on me. I lost your question. Where the heck was I? Like there's this little arrow thingy here that I clicked and my screen totally refreshed. Okay, wait, no, there we are. Okay. I think my computer screen might have froze for a second, and then like when it refreshed, it jumped. Question about Kai Green, William Bannock, Roden, blah, 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 and the Olympia. I'll be honest, I don't follow bodybuilding that much. Like I'm not in there like reading all this stuff on bodybuilding. Like I used to do that back in the day when I was competing in bodybuilding myself, but I'm not a huge bodybuilding fan in terms of competitive bodybuilding. I'm a fan of bodybuilding in terms of like the lifestyle of building muscle, getting in shape, losing fat. But as far as the sport, I'm not really into it that much. So I don't have any feedback to share about, who's going to win the Olympia this year and blah, blah, blah. Like I really, right. No offense to any of these guys, but I couldn't care less. I just really couldn't. I haven't been to the Olympia. I think it was in 2011 was the last time I went to the Olympia. And that was probably like the last time that I actually, well, that's when I competed for myself for the last time, was in 2011. And since then, like when I stopped competing in it, I just haven't really been following the sport that much. Now, of course, I mean, I still indirectly follow it because, I mean, just the fact that you're online and on social media, you're going to see some of it, but I'm not taking time out of my day to go, follow along and see what all the different competitors are up to. I really couldn't care less. Alex is asking a question here about the super squat. He says, in the book, the author recommends a minimalist program with benches, 2 for 12, squats, 1 for 20, and rows. Is something like that could be used by someone with time constraints? Yes, I followed the program exactly as it was outlined. In fact, if you want to just do a search on YouTube for Lee Hayward 20 rep squats. I've got the full 20 rep squat program. I actually did a video of it back in the day. Go to my blog or just go to Google and type in Lee Hayward 20 rep squats. I have a full blog post written out with the workouts, exercises, sets, reps, and everything else. And it's a very minimalist approach. Like say, basically you warm up, you do one all out set of squats, you do one set of pullovers, and then you do some assistant exercises for your chest and your back and stuff like that. I mean, it's a very simple, easy to follow program, but yeah, I've made some amazing gains with it. Sometimes the simpler the program and just focusing on progressive overload with a very simple program is so much more effective than having the most complex plan with, trying to hit all the different angles and then getting overly, just going too deep with it all. Like, oh, what's the ideal rep range and tempo and blah, 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 blah. And like, just stick to the basics and get better with the basics. That works extremely well. When I look back over my own training, when I see some plans that stand out in my mind as like really productive plans, simple ones like the 20 rep squat program, I mean, it just flat out works. It's simple. It works. Now, of course, you've got to be in good shape to be able to do it. I mean, if you, this isn't a novice program in terms of, like, I wouldn't recommend somebody who's never worked out or who's coming back to the gym after a layoff or something like that to do 20 rep squats. But if you're in shape, you've been working out consistently for several months, and I mean, you have a good level of fitness, you're comfortable with doing squats, and you can do all the big lifts, you know, you can bench, you can squat, you can deadlift, and you can do all the lifts with good form, and you feel comfortable with them, then yeah, by all means, you can do it. I mean, it is an advanced program in that regards, but it's a very productive one. All right, let's see what else we got. Donai saying, hi, I'm doing the 1,500 calorie diet, but it's so hard because I just want to eat what I want sometimes, and I'm really craving sugar. Like, first off, like, why are you doing a 1,500 calorie a day diet? Like, where did you come up with that number? And like, there's so many missing pieces to that question. I mean, all I'm going to say is, if you need help with planning out your nutrition, like you want help with your diet and controlling your cravings and actually being able to stick with a plan long term, send me an email and we can chat about it. Because like that, I just can't give you a diet plan based on that comment alone. Like, there's so many things that we're leaving out of the equation here. Like, it's not just calories in versus calories out, or like, bottom line, when it comes to nutrition, if you do not enjoy the eating plan that you're following, if you are constantly hungry, you're constantly craving, and you're constantly obsessing about food, guess what? It's only a matter of time before you give in, blow the diet, and go back to your old eating habits and start eating crap again. Like, you can't force yourself to lose weight through willpower alone. It will not work. It'll work short term. Don't get me wrong. It will work short term, but everyone's going to hit their threshold. Everyone's going to hit their limit where they just say, to hell with it. I can't take it anymore. I just want to binge, cheat, and go back to the way I was eating before. It will happen. Like, it's happened to me numerous times. Like, when I was competing in bodybuilding, I used to go through yo-yo dieting with every single contest prep that I did. Right, I would go on the most ridiculous, strict contest cutting diet. Yes, it would work. I would look good for the competition. I'd look good for the pictures and all that. And okay, I place reasonably well sometimes. But as soon as the contest was over, guess what? I go back to my old eating habits, and then I gain all the fat back again. And then before you know it, a few months goes by, and I'm back to square one, and I'm fat slob, have to start all over again and start cutting for the next competition. But I was so naive and caught up in it all. The way I would justify it is, I'd say, well, I'm in the off season now and I'm bulking, right? I'm bulking up. And then I would use that excuse that I would getting fat because I'm putting on more muscle for the next time I compete. And in reality, all I was doing is getting fat. Like, you do not need to get fat to gain lean muscle. In fact, the amount of calories that you need to consume to build lean muscle, it's so small. In fact, you can actually build lean muscle in a calorie deficit. So you don't need to bulk up and get fat to gain muscle, right? Anyway, like I say, there's so much that we could talk about when it comes to this question. But Adonai, I think that's how you pronounce your name, is Adonai. Adonai. If you would like some help with this, just shoot me an email and we can chat, because it's, like I say, it's too much to cover in just a quick comment on a YouTube video. Ricky is joining us. Sean is joining us. He says he's got a question. I am a package handler for FedEx. I know that this is a workout. Just doing that. Let me have a sip of coffee. I am a package handler for FedEx. I know that is a workout, just doing that as well. I still work out at gym, total body workout once or twice a week. Would cardio 5 to 6 days a week be okay as well? Yes. You can still do cardio even though you handle packages at FedEx. Like most people are not doing enough exercise. Like, I mean, even though you're handling packages at FedEx, I'm sure that you're not handling packages to failure or to exhaustion. Like, it's just work. It's just moving your body. Like, you can do more work. You can move your body more. Like, that's totally okay. That's cool, right? Like, Don't have this fear of, oh, I'm afraid to do too much exercise or whatever. Like most people do not do nearly enough exercise. Like we can do more than we give ourselves credit for, especially cardio. Like our bodies are meant to move. Like before the invention of the automobile, guess what? Everybody did cardio because that's the only way you got around. You had to walk, right? Nowadays we're so fat and lazy because we take the car, we take the transportation. Like nobody walks anymore, right? So I mean, well, that's not true. I mean, people do walk, you know what I'm saying? But like a lot of people don't walk enough. So bottom line, yeah, you can do cardio even though you handle packages at FedEx. What else we got there? Steven's joining in. He says, what's the difference between chest press and a bench press? I'm clueless about this stuff. A chest press is usually a machine. So it could be some sort of weight stack machine where you're doing a chest press. A bench press is a bench and a barbell. So go to Google and type in barbell bench press. Open up Google Images, you will see pictures of a barbell bench press. Then go to Google and type in chest press machine, and you will see pictures of a chest press machine. That will show you the difference. It's just two different exercises. Sean K, is that still a good idea? Be careful with working out. Well, I think that was a follow-up question to the cardio. Yes, it's still a good idea. You can do cardio even though you handle packages at FedEx. I don't think I could do a total body workout 3 days a week. It could be hard, but I like to do cardio 5 to 6 days a week. You can do a total body workout 3 days a week. I mean, whether or not it's hard, it depends on what you do and how hard you push yourself. Like, you can adjust the intensity of the exercises. Like, if you feel that it's too hard, then just do lighter weights, do less sets. Like, you can make it easier. And vice versa. If it's not hard enough, then lift heavier weights, do more sets. Like, you can make it harder. So, I mean, total body workout 3 days a week in and of itself is not hard. It's how you do the workout. And just the same, like you could do a bodybuilding split routine, where you're training different muscle groups each day. And just because you're splitting your workouts up doesn't make it hard or easy. It's what you actually do and how hard you exert yourself is what makes it hard. Just because the split itself doesn't make something easy or hard. It's what you actually do and how much you exert yourself is what makes it hard. Okay. I don't want to overtrain. It's unlikely you're going to overtrain. Like most people will not overtrain. Like it's the average person is not overtraining. Elite level athletes who are like pushing themselves and are committed and consistent and like, they're motivated, and elite level athletes are like, they're not of the same mindset of normal people. Like they're obsessed, right? And it's people who have that obsessive, compulsive, do it at all costs approach. Yeah, I mean, okay, that's someone who's at risk of overtraining. But the average person, like, they're not going to overtrain. Like, they're on and off again with their workouts. Like, they're skipping every other day. And like, no, like, the average person is not going to overtrain. Jacob is joining us. He says, Coach, I just wanted to ask if it is better to have cardio after the workout in the afternoon or before sleep at the nighttime. Honestly, it doesn't matter. I personally, this is something that I've been doing for quite a while now, and I actually enjoy it. In the evenings, as long as it's not raining or a storm or something like that, I love to go for a walk in the evening before I settle down and go to bed. So I will take my dog, Sally, and we will go for an evening walk. And I actually love my evening walks. So, I mean, it's quiet. Like where we live, it's a kind of a rural place, so there's not a lot of traffic or anything like that. And of course, there's nobody else out walking at that time. So I find it very relaxing, very peaceful, and it's a great way for me to unwind at the end of the day. So, I mean, when I'm finished my work for the day and everything else, I'll very often just go for a walk outside. Depending on how I'm feeling or how much time I have, I mean, I might go for just like 15, 20 minutes. Sometimes I might go for an hour. Like last night, we went for an hour-long walk in the evening. It was beautiful full moon. I mean, it was just peaceful, enjoyable, and great exercise. So, I mean, that's something that I've been doing for the last year. I go for evening walks. That's how I end my day, right? I take my dog and go outside and go for a walk. Now, of course, if it's pissing down rain or it's a storm or, it's just not fit to go do cardio outside, I'll probably do some cardio at home. Like I've got an elliptical machine downstairs. Sometimes I'll go to the gym. Like the gym is only a 5-minute drive up the road. So, I mean, I'll sometimes go to the gym and do cardio there. But if possible, I like to get outside and go for a nice evening walk. And that's what I've been doing. But bottom line, to answer your question, all right, I know I kind of went off in a storytelling phase there. To answer your question, it doesn't matter. Like, as long as you do it, it doesn't matter. Like, you can burn fat whether you do cardio morning, noon, or night. It's calories in versus calories out. So whenever you prefer to do it, whenever it fits your schedule, it's there's no right or wrong. It's what works the best for you and what you're going to commit to. Or if you want to do both, like, I mean, the same with me. Like, sometimes if I like to do cardio in the afternoon, sometimes I'll do it in the evening, sometimes I'll do it in the morning. Like, you have flexibility with that. It really doesn't matter. Is it okay for a 17-year-old to use protein powder? Absolutely. My 3-year-old son uses protein powder. Now, not directly. He's not like drinking protein shakes, but he eats protein powder when I make a high protein recipe, like when I make the high protein ice cream or high protein pancakes or high protein cupcakes or high protein oatmeal or whatever I make. I mean, he's consuming protein powder and he's 3 years old. So, I mean, if a 3-year-old can handle it, I'm sure a 17-year-old can. There's protein powder in baby formula, just to kind of put things in perspective. Like, the body needs protein. I know, like, that's a big misconception. Like, people say, oh my God, protein powder, it's like things going to turn you into a mutant or something. No, like, the body needs protein. It is the essential nutrient. It's the building blocks for all the tissues of your body. Like, we need protein. If you don't get protein in your diet, guess what? You're not going to grow. You're not going to function. You'll be malnourished. Protein is essential. Now, you can get protein through solid food, which is great. And I encourage you to get the majority of your protein through solid food. But if you're not getting enough through solid food, then you can supplement with protein powder. I personally supplement with protein powder because it makes my diet so much more enjoyable, because I can make all these fun, tasty recipes and enjoy eating them and give me the eating satisfaction that I would normally not get if I had to, or that I would normally only get by eating junk food, because protein powder tastes good, right? That's the cool thing about it. So, I mean, I can go to the store and I can buy a tub of ice cream that's loaded with fat and sugar, or I can go make my own high protein ice cream that is basically pure protein, very low fat, very low sugar, right? I would rather the high protein, low fat, low sugar version versus the fattening, sugary, fatty version. So boom, that's how I use protein powder most of the time. Like, very rare do I actually drink a protein shake anymore. I usually have protein powder with my cooking, like with oatmeal mixed in there, with the puddings, with the ice creams, with the pancakes, that kind of stuff. That's how I consume my protein powder. What else we got there? Mendy is joining us. Mendy, I think it is. That's Mehdi. Is 120 reps per muscle group per week enough to build muscle? Yes. I mean, again, there's so many variables. Like, how old are you? What's your fitness level? What's your goal? How long have you been training? Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's like saying, is $1,000 a week enough to live on? It depends. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Like, I don't know. What's your expenses? You know, where do you live? Like, there's so many variables there. Like, there's no way to answer that question, right? Well, there is a way to answer the question, but I need to get more information to answer that question. But there's no way to answer it based on what you just wrote there in the comment. So, you know, again, if you have questions, you need help, like you want, send me an email. We can chat. Does somebody here have any tips on how to lose weight? Yeah. Eat less, exercise more. That's a great place to start. Again, send me an email if you want some help with this. Or you can go to my website and download like the Total Fitness Bodybuilding app. That has a whole section on diet and training advice, workout programs, nutrition section. I've got ebooks like you can download. There's Bodybuilding Nutrition Made Simple guide, 3 keys to building muscle, right? Boom, there. You know, just head on over to my website, leehayward.com. I've got a lot of awesome resources there. Lots of tips on how to lose weight. Blog posts, articles, videos, you name it. Daniel says hooks are no good. All right. Rob is joining us. He says, your wrist straps were built too well. That's why they went out of business. No need to buy anymore. Talking about the wrist straps. He says, shit, my screen refreshed again. Rob saying, do you have any testosterone range that someone in their 50s should have? The doctors don't seem to be worried about it. I got mine checked, but I don't know where it should be. Off the top of my head, I don't know the numbers. There's different ranges, like different methods of testing, and just like you got Celsius and Fahrenheit, metric and standard, there's different methods of measuring testosterone levels. And off the top of my head, I don't know the numbers. I'd have to look it up. But you should be able to just Google search that. That should be very simple to find. That's a Google search away, my friend. Jin Yu. Okay, right on. Thanks for the advice. And again, thank you for your support. Much appreciated. I think I'm pronouncing your name right. Jin Yu. Gauze Sports saying, hi, coach. I used a 5x5 program. My weight is 193, and after 12 weeks, my weight is 217. What is your take about this program? 5x5. Well, there's a lot of different 5x5 programs out there, right? So generally, it's a strength and power program. I mean, obviously, you gained a lot of weight from it. So, I mean, if your goal was to gain weight, then it was a success. If your goal was to lose weight, then it was a massive failure. Right? Going from 193 to 217, that's a lot of weight. So from a filling out your frame, putting on size point of view, that's really good. I mean, I would assume you must have gained a lot of strength along with that weight. I mean, 5x5 programs have been around for a long time. I mean, the first one that I remember was Bill Starr's 5x5 program. And I've actually got that post up on the Total Fitness Bodybuilding Inner Circle membership site. I think there might be a variation of it in the Total Fitness Bodybuilding app as well. But that was like one of the original 5x5 programs. Now, I don't know if it was the original one, because I mean, like, weight training is as old as dirt, right? Like, weight training and strength training has been around for, man, like, long time, like 1800s, long time, right? So, I mean, it's been around for a long time. And I don't know where the original 5x5 program came about, but a lot of people have used different variations of it. I've used variations of 5x5, and I find it's a great program, especially for size and strength. Now, as I've gotten older and my focus is now more on health, fitness, longevity, and staying injury-free, I'm a bit cautious to go so low in repetitions, because I find when I lift heavier and low reps, it increases my risk of injury, and I don't want to get injured. So for me at this stage of the game, like a set of 10 is a heavy set for me now. So that's just put things in perspective. Like normally when I go to the gym, I'm shooting for like 15 repetitions. And then if I go down to 10 reps per set, like that's a heavy set at this stage of the game. So I'm lifting lighter, higher reps, more time under tension, and just focusing on quality over simply just trying to lift heavier weight. That's where I'm at this stage, and I enjoy it. I find it works well, and for the most part, I stay relatively injury and ache and pain free. I mean, of course, I've had a few minor setbacks, but nothing major. Knock on wood. Coach, what are your thoughts about Rich Piana, Dallas McCarver, Nasser El Sambade back in the day, and why they overdose everything? Because they were probably obsessive about getting as big and strong and freaky as possible. That's probably why. Boom. I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's just the reality. Daniel Quinn, Bret Hart is my favorite. Okay, talking about the old WWF wrestlers. Cool. Ricky Field, I'm 40 next year. Do you think I need to check my test levels? It wouldn't hurt. Next time you're at the doctor to get yourself a physical, just ask them to check your testosterone levels, because most of the doctors will not do it unless you request it. They should do it, and I'm hopefully, as time goes on, they'll be like, I don't know what it is about doctors and testosterone levels. Like, it's they don't focus on it unless they're actually a hormone replacement specialist clinic and stuff. But like the average doctor, like, oh, let's worry about your cholesterol, right? Let's worry about your blood sugar. Let's worry about testosterone. Who needs testosterone, right? You got a limp dick. Who cares if you got a limp dick, right? Right? You're fat. You're overweight. You feel like shit. Who cares about that? As long as your cholesterol's okay, as long as your blood sugar's okay. Testosterone isn't critical, right? Very critical. It's what makes you a man. Like, you need that shit. Anyway, Brian is joining us. He says, do you do much direct forearm training, and how necessary do you think it is? I don't do a lot of direct forearm training at this stage of the game. It really depends on the individual. Like if you are training for sports or athletics or powerlifting or something like that, then I think it's more important. But a lot of people are going to get indirect forearm training just from gripping the weights at the gym, right? Just the regular picking up barbells, dumbbells, machine handles, stuff like that. You're going to get indirect forearm training from that. But if it's something that you want to focus on, you certainly can. Like I've known a lot of bodybuilders who've built big muscular physiques, big massive forearms, and haven't done any direct forearm training. Like I remember listening to like videos of Dorian Yates talking about like he had massive forearms back in the day, and he said it never did a damn thing for him. Like it's just all indirect stimulation just from lifting weights. So I mean, you will get that. But if your forearms are weak link, then yeah, it would make sense to do some direct forearm training. And one of the things you can do for the forearms is that's most people don't even consider it forearm training, but it's actually like the best form of forearm training is grip work, using grippers and actually training your grip strength. Because when you build a stronger grip, that's what's going to build up stronger and bigger forearms. Like, you know, flexing and extending your forearms and your wrists, like that helps. But the best way to build functional strength and actual solid mass to your forearms is increase your grip strength. Like for me, grippers, like I have these on my website. If you want to check them out, go to leehayward.com. You can check them out. But this is as close to I get as direct forearm training. Is I'll just do some gripper work. And the gym that I train at has a full set of these there as well. So it's pretty cool. So sometimes after a workout, I'll just do a little bit of gripper work. I mean, it only takes a few minutes and boom, that kind of covers the grip training. I'll give you a tip. If you are going to do some grip work, either do it at the end of your weight training or do it separate from your weight training. Because if you do it at the beginning, then your grip could be mush, and then that could then take away from your strength from your other workouts, your other exercises. So save the grip for at the end of a workout is the best time to do it. All right, I'm going to clue it up very soon because we've been going for over an hour. I know there's a few more questions there. I'll see if I can get through as many of them in the next few minutes. John Doe, that's an original name, says, I got lower back pain from the squat below parallel. What can I do? Well, you can stop squatting for a while and give your back a chance to heal and focus on some other not as back demanding exercises. Like if I were in your situation and my back was hurting from squatting, then I would just take a break from the squats for a little while, do leg presses and leg extensions and lunges and leg curls and all that kind of stuff instead. Focus on working the muscle, not getting hung up on the exercise. Like unless you are a power lifter or a weightlifter or somebody who has to squat, then you don't need to squat. Like there's nothing wrong with doing different exercise variations instead. So that's what I would personally do. I try to work around the injury the best I can. As far as building up the back, hyperextensions or back extensions are one of the best exercises for that. Just some general stretching and mobility work. Yoga is another one that's a big neglected. Most guys will never do it, but they should. I'm actually a bit guilty of that. I was doing yoga for a while and I kind of got a bit slack with it lately, but yoga is great for mobility, building up your core strength, and just feeling good in general. And the cool thing about yoga is, I mean, you can just bring it up on YouTube, full length follow along workouts, right? From beginner to advanced, whatever. I mean, it's awesome. I actually have a video talking about yoga. Just do a search for Lee Hayward yoga and you'll see what I mean. But yeah, that's what I would do. Haley, my question is regarding nutrition. What is appropriate way to incorporate soup in the diet? It is winter and it seems it's going to get intense. Also, how's the weather in Newfoundland? All right, that's from Azim. He says, what is the appropriate way to incorporate soup in the diet? Like with a spoon? And just that's the I don't know what you mean. Like what's the appropriate way to incorporate soup in the diet? It's winter and it's going to get intense. All right, I like soup. All right, I'll just go on a rant about soup. All right, I really don't know the best way to answer your question because I really like what's the appropriate way to like you just eat it. I mean, like I don't know how I suppose you could drink it, but soup. I like soup. And the thing I like about soup is it's very filling. It's very satisfying. And it's great for a fat loss diet because you can get a lot of volume, a lot of flavor without a lot of calories. Now, of course, it depends on the soup, right? I mean, because you can get soups that are loaded with crap and oil and blah. But, you can make your own homemade soups. But even some of the, like, I'll tell you one that I'm a big fan of is like sometimes like bean or lentil soups or pea soups or something like that, because they give a lot of volume and a lot of flavor and very low calorie density. So, I mean, if you're looking for a way to kind of like fill your belly up with volume without a lot of calories, like start your meal with like soup and salad and then get into your main course of like your meat and your veggies and your complex carbs. I mean, you could have a very filling, satisfying meal that way without having an abundance of calories. Like you can keep your calories in check, but still get a lot of food volume and a lot of eating satisfaction. So, I mean, I'm a fan of incorporating soup into the diet. I like it, especially like in the evening meal. And of course, like you mentioned, it's winter time. So, I mean, if you might want like a nice hot bowl of soup to, kind of warm you up, I mean, that's a great way to have it. So hopefully that answers your question about how to incorporate soup. And he's asking about how the weather is. It's wintertime. It's cold today. It's cold. I think with the wind chill, it was like minus 20 something today. And there's like the ground is covered in snow, and it's winter. It's cold. It's Canada. Boom. There. Leg press versus the squat. This is from Daniel. It really depends. I like both, right? You can make gains with either one. Sharayas is asking basic principles for building muscle. Go to my website and download a book that's called The 3 Keys to Building Muscle. It's a free download. It's up on my website, leehayward.com. Download it. Boom. That covers basic principles for building muscle. Jamie says, how old are you? I'm 41. Okay. Tony's waving. Donna's here. Why don't you do your Q&As shirtless? Because I like to wear a shirt. I don't know. Like, all right, maybe someday I'll do a Q&A shirtless, but that kind of sends the wrong message. Like, I mean, like, what is this? Is this a... Just imagine the impression, right? People doing it. Just this naked man on camera, right? And no, I mean, this is not some adult chat site. This is a fitness chat. Anyway. What else we got there? Questions. I'm gonna clue it up soon because we're running. Got Carlos joining us. Jamie's joining us. Jamie says, I'm 45. I'm 18% body fat, 39% muscle. I'm 5'10". I'm 171. I think I'm good. What do you think? I think you're fantastic. If you're really 18% body fat, that's pretty good for most people. I mean, obviously it could be leaner, but the way it is with body fat, like the percentage tool that you use for measuring it can vary so much. Like if you're using a caliper versus a DEXA scan versus underwater weighing versus whatever other electronic tester machine, they give such varying degrees of numbers. I don't put a lot of faith in when somebody says I'm X% of body fat. Like, let's look at your physique. Like if you have visible abdominal definition, okay, you're probably, between 10 and 15% body fat. If you're like super shredded, okay, you might be single digit body fat percentage. If you're got a gut, okay, you're 20% or more. If you really got a gut, then you're probably 30% or more. But like, it's, again, the number is kind of subjective. Like, you really want to, like, I guess looking at yourself in the mirror is important. The waistline and all that stuff. I mean, but anyway, I don't know if that was a question or not. How to be healthy. That was from Shareas. How do you be healthy? You eat right. You exercise. You get plenty of sleep. You avoid alcohol. You don't do recreational drugs. You say your prayers and go to bed early. That's how you be healthy. And be happy. Be grateful. I don't know. What else? There's a lot of things you can do. I mean, Thanks for your answers. That's from Jacob. You're welcome, my friend. Alex is saying thank you. You're welcome. Chris is saying, what builds more muscle? Supersets or pause rest? It all builds muscles. Just what do you do consistently? It's progressive overload and consistency over the long term is what builds muscles. Not, the nitty gritty details of whether you superset or you do a rest pause or whatever. It's consistency over the long term is what's going to build muscle. Not the nitty gritty details of that. Coffee versus energy drinks. Isn't it the caffeine that's the real thing? Not all the herbs and mumbo jumbo. I personally like drinking tea. Okay. I'm coffee. I'm a fan of coffee. I mean, I'm not a big fan of energy drinks. I find energy drinks for the most part are too much. Like if you're looking at a pre-workout, most pre-workouts are way too strong. Like it's overkill of caffeine and then all kinds of other stimulants in there. Same with a lot of these canned energy drinks. Like I don't drink soda drinks anyway, so I'm not a fan of fizzy drinks. So I don't like the Red Bulls or the Monsters or the whatevers. I'm not a fan of those. I just a cup of black coffee. Keep it simple. I have a couple cups a day, and if it does it for me. Tony's asking, what age did I start working out? I started working out when I was 12. Back in 1990 is when I started working out. Started competing in bodybuilding in 1995. I'm 17, did my first show. Started my first website in 1997. The internet was just getting started. The internet as we know it today only became legal in 1996. And I started my first website in 1997. So I was like one of the pioneers to the whole bodybuilding and fitness scene. Like I remember the first time I went on the internet it was in 1997. The first time I logged onto the internet with an old 486 computer and a dial-up internet connection, and it took like 5 minutes to load a simple text page. Like I kid you not, the internet was so slow when I started going online back in 1997 that I would click on a link to load a web page. I could go to the bathroom, do my pee. I could go pour myself a cup of coffee, and then I'd come back and I'd sit down to the desk and I'd wait a minute for the website to load. Like that's how slow it was. You click a link and you could bank on like 2 to 3 minutes before the page would actually load up. And that was just text. Like there was no videos, no nothing. If it was a picture, God forbid. I mean, it could take you 5 minutes or more to load a picture. It was slow, right? Painfully slow. But I started my first website back then. I remember the first time I logged onto the internet and I typed in bodybuilding into the search engine. This was before there was Google. There was no Google back then. I typed in bodybuilding into Yahoo. Yahoo was the search engine. And nothing came up. Nothing. There was no bodybuilding.com. There was nothing. Like nothing. There was I think there was some definition saying like bodybuilding is lifting weights and building your muscle or something like that. But there was like no websites. Nothing. I logged in. The internet was empty. So that year I was actually in school studying a computer studies course. And part of our term project was we were learning all the magic of the internet. And we learned how to create HTML websites. So I created a bodybuilding website and I called it Lee Hayward's Total Fitness Bodybuilding. That was my school project for computer studies at Kean Tech back in 1997. And I put that website on the internet back in 1997. And back then there was like you could count on your fingers and toes all the bodybuilding websites that were online back then and still have fingers and toes left over. Like there was nothing out there. So like that's when I started online back in those days. So it was pretty cool because like anybody who worked out, anybody who had an internet connection, and anybody who did a search for anything related to workout fitness found my website because there was nothing else there. Like, so I was getting all kinds of traffic just based on the fact that there was nobody else there. It was like just the infancy of the internet. Nowadays, there's just so much noise out there. It's crazy. But yeah, that's how it all got started, right? It was all this stuff was a school project back in 1997. That's how it started. And with that being said, I'm going to finish it off. I mean, we've been going for an hour and a half now, so I'm going to clue it up. I actually got a lot of work to do because I got to go in now to the Lose Your Gut Challenge Facebook group and deal with in there because we've got a lot of stuff planned. I mean, if you've been following along, you've heard me talking about the Lose Your Gut Challenge. I've been sharing about it. I mentioned it on the last video chat last week. If you've been following along with my Facebook and my emails, no doubt you've heard about it. It's a big deal. We've got 194 people lined up ready to go this week for the Lose Your Gut Challenge. So I'm going to clue this up now and head on over there and talk to those 194 people and get them all motivated and educated and fired up and ready to lose their gut over the next week. And I will talk to you next week. So have yourself a great one. Have yourself a great weekend. If you would like some help with training, nutrition, you got any questions, you want some help with planning out a realistic and sustainable workout nutrition plan for yourself, send me an email. I have an email address. It is leeh@leehayward.com. Lee, the letter H, at leehayward.com. Send me an email there, and I will chat with you. And if you have any questions that you would like to discuss, or you would like some help with planning out a workout or nutrition plan, we can talk about it there. So that's being said, and I will talk to you next week. Take care. Over and out.